Castle Street Dunedin. It's the best place to buy and hold an investment property. This morning we're at Otago University, which is New Zealand's oldest university, and today I'm going to show you 3 flats that are quite different. Dunedin offers something that's different around the country, where we offer a really good yield basis as opposed to capital growth basis, which is what you go and invest in Queenstown or Auckland for. So having that cash return is actually what people look for to balance out their portfolios, and the student area in the university offers one of the best sort of options to get that good cash yield return. So you guys are on Castle Street?
Next year.
Yeah. Next year living in Castle Street. So which hall are you in at the moment?
Knox.
Knox. So why did you want to live in Castle Street?
It's cool. Culture.
Culture?
Yeah.
Yep.
Tradition.
Cool. Parties?
Yeah.
Next door neighbours with your friends.
Yeah.
So we're at the intersection of Dundas and Castle Street. This side down here is all campus-owned refurbished buildings that are for the university departments. This side up here is now into the private sector, and all of the private student flats and that nice close distance that the students love. And that's why the demand's so high in this area, because they can nip in very quickly into lectures and then nip back out in between for that hour break that they might have, hang around with their friends, probably do some study, and then shoot back for afternoon lectures nice and easily. Right, so here we are at the Fridge and Frette, one of the more infamous Castle Street flats. This is 2 7-bedroom places, and it gets jumped on every year, really, really early by tenants. But we'll go inside and have a look. So this is your classic student flat type of setup. You have kitchen at one area to an big open dining and lounge space instead. Any separate lounges long ago would have been sacrificed into bedrooms, so you can maximise the amount of income on a property, which realises the full capacity of the income that the investment can bring in. Why the Fridge and Frette?
Love it. I love the fun of the kind of the name of the flat. We get to like go to all the parties, host the parties, the Fridge and Frette together, because we signed 14 of us.
Yes, yeah,
So,
I saw that. Yeah. Everybody's so 2 independent flats, but you're all quite close friends, and you guys all came in from one of the halls as a
thing. We all came from Unico together. Yeah.
So these properties are generally old weatherboard places that have been rough cast over in prior decades as well. Single glazed wooden frames, which is really typical of most student stock in here, and it doesn't actually rent any differently to any of the new stock. So there's not much new stock around. The tenants would sometimes prefer that, double glazed and the likes, but it doesn't actually really detract much from the rent. And these end up getting the same, so the yield returns are very similar between new and old. We've got a few people interested at the moment, but it's going to take a wee bit of time. This time last year, we would put a student flat up and we might only get about 6 inquiries over a month. People actually want to put in offers, and we're now seeing that flow through in June and now into July as well, with completion of contracts, and we're starting to get those numbers rise of sales like we used to about 2 or 3 years ago. So that market is coming back. I would say the recessionary period for investment property is over, and we're now in that recovery period coming out. It's been helped by factors like interest deductibility being swept back, and in April next year that's going to be back to 100% fully deductible. The bright line has come back in, and also the rental rules are changing into 2025 too. So as each of those changes come about, we're getting more and more inquiry, and then that's been compounded by now the interest rates have sort of tipped and they're coming back down a little bit. That looks like it's going to start rolling on, and I'm expecting by 2025 we're going to have quite a competitive market. So we're leaving the Fridge and Frette and onto the next property further up Castle Street. What you notice straight away is that we're going to some really quite nice period housing that's been immaculately looked after. So this was owned by a private investor, and he had most of this side of Castle Street all the way up, and sold off to the Varsity a number of years ago because the Varsity were already head leasing a lot of flats. So it's been something that they've traditionally done, and that's so that they can place their own students from overseas in for a semester here or a semester there, and they always wanted the nicest stock. So the Varsity now own all this good stock. They're still maintaining it the same way that they do with all of their buildings, and put a lot of good effort into it, and it's fantastic accommodation, but really lifts this part of Castle Street. So you guys are at Knox Hall. Any plans for where you're going to flat next year?
Yeah, right there.
Right there?
Yeah.
Right across?
Brick one just up
So why come to Castle Street? What was the appeal?
Super fun. Pizza parties, yeah.
Lots of
All
friends
our
here.
friends.
Nothing.
Oh, come on, Rob. Surely.
No.
Thanks for your hard work, guys. Campus Watch do a fantastic job. They basically patrol all of the varsity areas. They've got multiple patrols, and their job is really just to make sure that the whole area is safe for the students, secure for them. One of the great services they have is that if you're a student, particularly female one, late at night in July, it's nice and cold at 6 o'clock at night, and if you want to get walked home, you can give them a call. They'll come and pick you up and actually, like a walking bus, take you back home again and make sure you're nice and safe and secure. So the varsity are fantastic at actually looking after the students. So the next property we're looking at is a new build, which sits right in behind Dunedin's Rock Royalty flat of 660 Castle Street. So this is a really good example of the infill developments that were done. When there was space at the back of these old properties, new ones have been built up to get the most capacity out of the land. So down here is where we're going to go. So between 660 and 662, its sister property, is the access way up to these two 20-year-old developments we've got at the back. These are both 5 bedrooms each, built around about 2002. Really good example of what the students would love to be in, and this gets massively competed for every year. This flat is quite different to the fridge and fridgette, so you get a lot more space, a bit more of a generous layout, and of course that modern build. The girls in here talk to me about the fact that this is much, much warmer than most of other places, so they jump on these kind of new flats if they can find them, but they are so rare within the market that they do get competed for quite heavily, but only just a little bit of a higher room rate than what you get for the older stock. So just because of the amount of demand for all of the student property in the whole area that we're in, they all sort of level out about the same, whether it's new or old. And what are your power bills like compared to other friends and other flats?
Pretty
Ours
much
are pretty
the same.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, some of our friends are quite high, like $400 a month, whereas ours is half that.
Why? Is it heating? Is it insulation? Is it? Do you guys even use your heat pump much?
Not really.
No.
Yeah.
You don't need to.
No.
Yeah, no, not really.
One of the nice things about these infill properties at the back is they're a lot quieter. So first of all, they're off Castle Street by one house back, and the girls have said that people don't really come up and actually frustrate them. They don't have that many parties in the spot. Some of them do, but these ones are really, really good for that good access, that badge of honour being on Castle Street, but just that little bit quieter. So like the fridge and fridgette, these two properties are on separate titles. They can be bought separately, but a lot of people like to buy them together so that they can actually control the whole building and have multiple tenancies and really high cash flow. A lot of other investors like to actually just have one property, and therefore they normally go for a freestanding building, which we're going to go next to around the corner at House Street. This is 58 House Street, the boiler room, and this is your classic 5-bedroom flat. So this old working cottage has got 4 bedrooms inside and 1 sleep out outside. One of the great features of these type of places is this old kind of period wood panelling that you get. Smaller lounges in some of these older cottages and smaller sort of tighter kitchens, but the students don't mind. They love this kind of stuff. It's easier to heat for a start, but the overall factor for them is actually the locality to where they are. What's the best bit about this flat?
Oh, it's awesome. You know, it's small, so easy to heat. Nice neighbours, you know, everything's there. Got sun in the backyard, you know, can't go too wrong with it.
So what's the benefit of living on House Street and like being next to Castle Street but not actually being on Castle Street?
Oh, I mean, like, you're far enough away that you're not like crazy next to action, music pumping 24/7, but then again, everything's a minute walk. So you can just be there if you want to be there and have a bit of peace back here if you want to. You know?
So you get the benefit of the parties and the social part and then
Yeah.
step back out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's typical of a lot of these old 4-bedroom cottages is these 5th bedroom sleep outs that were put in. So the benefit of this one is it does have a toilet ensuite, so the tenant in here doesn't have to track inside when they need it in the middle of the night, and as long as they've been permitted or consented as a bedroom, they make a fantastic addition to these working cottages used now as student flats. Hey girls, got the best view in Castle Street? When did you sign?
Like middle of March last year.
March
Very early.
It seems to be a common theme on Castle Street that you've got to be right in there right at the start.
100%.
And but you guys have got a great spot actually.
Oh, so we love it.
Yeah.
They're fixed term tenancies. We don't have any periodic tenancies in here, and they always work for a calendar year from 1st of January through till 31st of December. And pretty much most student investors know that you get year after year rent. Arrears are virtually nil because the students pay from their perspective per room, so it's nice and easy to afford. And the rents just keep rolling in, every year keeps going. I've had investors that have owned properties for over 20 years who have said they've never missed 1 week of rent or 1 week of vacancy in that entire time. What's the competition for flats like this year?
For all the same, we had like at least 50 groups come to our flats like in the first few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
50?
Oh, at least, yeah.
Are the rents going up this year?
Yeah, ours went up 14, I think.
$14.
But if you re-sign, it's cheaper.
Right. So as we heard from some of the tenants that they jump on these investments sort of round about March and April for the following year. So that peace of mind knowing you can sleep at night, it's always going to be rented, they always tick along. These are really, really good, safe investments to own due to that fact.